Straight all day.
Now tuned into the show where you earn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, mindsets, strategies, techniques, all under one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic are the tools of persistence. Now, persistence is an important skill that you're going to need. And yes, it is a skill. It is not a talent. It is not something that just randomly pops up. This is something that you can do on purpose. A skill is an ability that has been practiced, meaning you are intentional about it. You wanted to develop this ability and you developed it. And persistence is one of those skills. And what tools will you need to actually employ persistence? I'm going to answer that question here today. First, let's get clear on, before we get clear on anything, let me get clear on something else. So something else to get clear on. I send out a daily motivation text every day. I want you to receive it. All you need to do to confirm what I already know is for you to text me at the same number that I'm going to be texting you from every morning with my daily motivation. Here's the number. Write this down. Put it in your phone. 305-384-6894. Text me at that number right now. Then just save my information. Save it as Dre Baldwin or Dre All Day, however you want. Put that in your phone, in your contacts. So every morning when I send a daily motivation text, you know it's coming from me. And every day, all you're going to see is just a long list of those daily motivation texts. And here's another bonus that you get with that daily motivation text is that is me that is sending that text to you. So you can actually respond to any one of those messages and I will be writing you back. I do not outsource that kind of communication to anyone. So my assistant is not doing that. That's not a bot that's doing that. I know a lot of companies have bots that will text you. You can tell when it's a bot. All right. I don't do text bots, at least not now. I am responding to those text messages. That is me who will be replying to you. So text me at 305-384-6894. Now, let's get clear on something else here. What does persistence actually mean? Let's get a clear definition of this word. As you all know, I like to define words and phrases when I'm talking about them so that we're all on the same page of what I'm talking about here and we all know the basis from which I'm coming on any subject. Definition of persistence: continue firmly or obstinately in an opinion or a course of action in spite of difficulty, opposition, or failure. That's a really good definition, and it actually connects directly to mental toughness, the way that I define it here at Work on Your Game, which is your ability and willingness to continue to be disciplined and confident even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to occur. Let me give you a few episodes of this show where I talked about persistence. In episode number 1435, What You Avoid Will Persist. Episode number 16 from way back in 2016, Obscurity, Uncertainty, and a Lack of Persistence, the three things that might be getting in your way from your name being known more. Episode, number 123, How to Persist. Episode number 460, How Persistence Overcomes a Lack of Talent. And episode 743, How to Lock into Persistence for Life. So make sure you check those episodes. They are linked down below in the show notes. And yeah, you should definitely check those out to give you further education on the subject of persistence. But today's topic, again, we're talking about the tools of persistence. Understand that persisting is a very simple idea. Everyone understands what it means, right? And before you even heard me give that definition, and even outside of anything I'm going to say here today, no one listening to me right now is ignorant of the subject of persistence, and no one's ignorant as to the general idea of what it's about. Even if you didn't know the exact definition that I just laid out for you, you have an idea of what it means, right? It means to keep going, keep trying, even when things aren't working out. To stay tough, to stay focused, to stay confident. Everybody pretty much understands that. So being that persistence is such a simple idea, what I'm going to do to go a little bit deeper is help you understand certain elements of persistence that will help you to persist. Okay, you understand what persisting is, but how can you actually do it? Now, those are two different things. And I understand, and you probably also, that persisting can really be a drag, and it can really suck when you do not have the following elements in place. Once I explain these elements, you'll agree with me. So I'm going to help make persistence fun for you as best I can through today's episode. So you should probably open up a new notes a new note in your notes app on your phone or Google Docs or wherever you take notes, or pen and paper. I see a lot of people send me pictures to my text message where they take notes on paper with pen and paper, or the stuff that they hear on my show or stuff that they get out of my books. I personally do everything digitally, but for those of you who like the pen and paper, do that too. However you take notes, just make sure you take notes on what I say here today, because studies show you will forget about 97% of what I said here today by this time tomorrow. So let's get into it. Got your pen and paper ready? All right, now let's go. Point number one. Topic, once again, is the tools of persistence. Positivity and belief. These are your number one. I'm lumping these together. This is your number one tool for persistence. Positivity and belief. In episode number 2023, just a few weeks ago, I told you about the life-changing 48-hour experiment. What is that experiment all about? If you have not listened to episode 2023, I would suggest you pause this one and go back and listen to episode 2023 first, then come listen to the rest of this. Because episode 2023, this is one of those that I'm going to be mentioning over and over and over again. I don't care when we get to episode 4,000, I'm going to mention this episode over and over again. Because that 48-hour experiment is all about you understanding the power of your mind, your conscious mind, and the power that you can command when you force your mind to think about whatever it is you want it to think about. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Dre, I make my mind think about whatever it is I want all the time. Actually, you do not. 85% of our thoughts are habitual and unconscious, meaning you are not thinking about them, but they're happening. So you, in that 48-hour experiment, I'll explain how you can take control over those thoughts and get into the habits that you want your thoughts to be in, which you had to be conscious of for a while before you can put it on cruise control. So this number one tool of persistence is you got to think positively. You got to have belief that you're actually going to get what you want, positive belief. So see my episode also where I talked about forced optimism, which was episode number 2054, which was actually just a week or two ago. Forced optimism is exactly what it sounds like. Forcing yourself to think positively and have positive belief and positive expectations about what's going to happen in your life, even when the circumstances and the quote unquote reality of the moment are saying the complete opposite. You must have the belief that there is light at the end of a tunnel, even when you're running through complete darkness, for you to continue firmly on any course, especially when that course is not yet working. And this is exactly how I define mental toughness. Every single episode of the show, as I said already, continuing to show up and doing the work, even when the success you've expected to achieve has not yet been achieved. That is forced optimism. And that's forced optimism in action, that mental toughness. That's why personal initiative comes right after it. So you can see how all these principles work together. If you don't have the ability to stay positive in your beliefs for an extended period of time and do so consistently, there's no way you can persist. Nobody's going to persist on something that they have a negative expectation around, at least not for long and not effectively. You're not going to persist in a way that looks like you're actually trying to get a positive result if you have a negative expectation. All right, those things are like oil and water. They do not mix. Understand that for you to get positive outcomes in the long run of your life, all of these have to be aligned. Your expectations, your beliefs, your energy, your conscious thoughts, and your goals all need to be aligned, going in the same direction. Now, if you think about it, think about the most successful people that you know. I guarantee you they have all five of these lined up and going in the same direction. And you think about the least successful people you know. You think about the people you know who are just losers, people who are not going anywhere. And listen, we're not condemning them. I'm calling them losers, but we got to call people what they are. Any people you know who are losers, people who are going nowhere, people who seem to be going backwards, people who seem to not be about anything they don't really care about, and they're not about anything, they know they're not about anything, and they don't care about the fact they're not about anything, they're actually cool staying in that exact spot. You know any people who fit that description? I guarantee you they have all five of these lined up the same way as well, but in a different direction. They're expecting negative, they think negatively, they have negative vibration, their goals are to go nowhere and stay at the exact same spot, which by default is going backwards because the world is always moving forward, and this is exactly how they end up. Is this true or is it not? I didn't make it this way. Don't be mad at me for just giving you the message. This is what it is. And you can look at life and see it for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Everything that I ever tell you here on this show, I'm going to explain it to you logically and practically in a way that you can take anything that I say and you can hold it up against anything that you see in your own life to know that I'm telling you the truth. All right, so you don't have to take anything that I say here at face value. You can take it and go apply it yourself and see if it makes sense to you. And anything that does not make sense, text me and let me know, and I'll make sure it does make sense to you. But if you listen to what I said, then it will make sense. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is the tools of persistence. Number 2, calm confidence. To persist, you need not just confidence and not just calm, but calm confidence combined. What I mean by this is you don't need to be bouncing off the walls, excited and jumping up and down, excited all the time about where you're headed or where you wish to be headed. Because let's be honest, it can be hard to do that when you're facing difficulty and opposition, as laid out in the definition of the word persistence. But that confidence needs to be there, at least on the inside. See, your confidence doesn't have to be something that you wear on your sleeve or that you post on your Facebook status. Confidence is an internal feeling, an internal belief in your ability to do something. That's the exact definition of the word confidence. So that confidence needs to be there, at least on the inside. If you want to show it on the outside, that's fine. You don't have to. And I've said this here before, and I'll say it again. No one should be able to tell how bad or how good you are doing based on the way that you show up on a day-to-day basis. Let me say that again. No one should be able to tell how bad or how good you're doing at work, in your business, in your profession, in your vocation, even at home. No one should be able to tell how bad or good you're doing every single day based on the way that you show up. And which means, let me say this part first, which means if I look at you every single day, if we work together and I see you every single day, I shouldn't be able to tell, all right, you're having a good day today, or it's a bad day for you today, or your energy's not here today, or you're really excited today, or I can push you extra a little bit today. I shouldn't be able to tell every single day by the way that you show up. Your energy should be steady and pretty much the same every single time. I described this in episode 2013. This is another episode I'm going to be referring to a lot. Episode 2013 was the same things, the same way every time. Professionals, this is how they get things done. The same stuff, the same way, every single time. That is because, and that is so, because of that, they have consistent inputs, duplicatable actions, and predictable results. And this is what we pay for. When you think of any professional that you pay to do anything, it is because of these three things. The inputs are the same every time, their actions are the same, and the results you can predict. And that's why you're willing to pay, because you know exactly what you're going to get. So your energy, the way that you show up every single day, in order for you to persist, needs to be the same every day, because you're not always going to have the same situation. There are going to be a lot of variables thrown into your life. And the longer the term of the process you're going through to get to a certain result, and the more ambitious your plans, the longer the term is going to be for you to get there. Understand things are going to be changing all the time. They're going to be all kinds of variables, all kinds of different people, different results, different circumstances, different energies that you might feel, different emotions you may experience, different challenges you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have all kinds of different stuff happening all around you. So your job then, as the professional, is to have at least one thing steady, one control group, metaphorically speaking. And the control group is your energy, the way that you show up every single day. The same things, the same way, every time. Since you can't control everything, and actually most of life you can't control, and I told you this, 99% of life is out of your control. You only control 1%, and that 1% is just you, yourself, and you. It would be you, yourself, and I, but that would be me. So you follow what I'm saying here. That calm confidence is you being consistent in the way that you show up energetically, spiritually, emotionally, even though everything around you is not always going to stay exactly the same. And even when you try to the best of your ability to control everything around you, you're not always going to be able to do it. So no one should be able to tell how bad or good things are going for you in your work by your energy. It should be the same way whether you're doing amazing or you're doing terribly. The same steady energy every time, no matter what. Your steadiness and consistency of energy is a necessary element of persistence. That's why this is the second point, calm confidence. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is the tools of persistence. Third thing you need is strategy and tools. Not just the tools of persistence, but the tools to actually execute your strategy. What do I mean by this is this. If you want to persist, your aim is to persist. You're listening to this and you are sold on the concept of persistence and showing up every day and being disciplined and putting yourself out there even when the success you expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. Just grinding every single day can work. Now, if you just show up every day and just grind away every day, that can work. But how would you like if I could show you a way to make that grinding a little bit easier? Would you be open to that? Would you be okay if I showed you how you can grind, but grind in a way that's going to be more efficient, is going to produce a higher return on investment, and you won't have to beat yourself up as badly in a different way of grinding? Are you all right if I share that? Or make up your mind. You okay with me sharing that? Okay, good. Here it is. Have a plan. Grinding is cool. Working really hard every single day with no idea of exactly where that work is going to take you. That is fine if you want to do it that way. But here's a way to do it more easily is to have a plan. Have a process that you can follow consistently that will allow you to persist. Just have a plan. Simple as that. I did episodes on planning, several episodes on planning and strategy. An episode number, I told you, episode 2008, plans are useless, but planning is priceless. Episode number 1697, 3 ways to avoid grinding blindly forever and having a plan. How to actually have a plan so that you're not out here just doing all the grind and all that hard work, but you have no idea where it's taking you. This is why having a process matters. This is why strategizing matters so much. And I told you about having a strategy in episode number 1648, the power of strategy. In episode number 1835, I talked about strategies for marketing. Episode 1850, I told you more strategies for marketing. In episode 2045, just a few weeks ago, I told you why you need to master strategy. Strategy matters because it is your way of mentally preparing yourself, mapping out what you're going to be doing, and thinking about, well, what if these things that I do don't actually work perfectly as I expect them to? Because as a hint, most of the things that you plan out are not going to work out perfectly. What will you do if and when things don't go exactly as expected? That's what strategizing does. It helps you think about those things. It's not that you're planning for things to not work out, but you're ready if things don't work out. And actually, let's change that if to a when. You're ready when things don't work out, because life is not always sitting around waiting for your plans to be submitted so everything can go perfect. I think all of you can understand that through your own experience. So have a strategy for exactly what your grinding is going to be. Now, that's all I mean when I say planning. Yes, you can grind. Yes, you can work hard and work on your game. Just have a strategy for what work you're doing on your game. And then, because I told you strategy and tools, get the tools at your disposal that will help you in that persistence. What tools do you need to actually execute on this strategy? Because even though you made a strategy, sometimes you either make a strategy that is assuming that you don't have any tools available. What I would suggest you do is make a strategy that says, okay, with these tools, I can execute this strategy. Then your job is to go get the tools. Don't try to execute a strategy with no tools whatsoever. Then you're basically grinding blindly. It's going to take a long time. Even if you're not going blind, the fact that you don't have any tools with which to execute your strategy will make the job a lot harder. It's kind of like trying to build a house with no nails, no screwdriver, no hammer, no wrench. I mean, is it possible? Yes, but you might beat your hands up smashing the nails into the boards without a hammer. All right, you understand what I'm saying? So you probably just want to get the tool to make it a lot easier, even though you might need to invest in the tool. But is it worth it in the amount of time that it's going to save you? I would think so. So this is what having a plan does for you. This is what having a strategy does for you. For example, when I was playing basketball, at one point I decided that I wanted to become a better ball handler. I wanted to get better at dribbling the ball. So while I could have simply just gone out and bounced the ball every single day as much as I could and hoping that I eventually got better at dribbling, I could have did it that way. That would have been grinding blindly, just doing stuff with the ball and hoping that I got better. That wasn't the best strategy. As a matter of fact, that's not really a strategy at all. So the better thing, and this is what I actually did, I created a series of drills that I could do over and over again. I knew I had some semblance of idea what drills I could do when it came to dribbling the basketball. I'd done all of them before. I just wasn't doing them strategically. I wasn't doing them consistently. And I didn't have a process that I followed to do them all the time. So what I did, very simply, was take the drills that I knew would make me better at dribbling the ball, and I decided, okay, I'm going to do them in this sequence, in this order. I'm going to do these every day, and I'm just going to keep doing it over and over again, and let's see if this helps me get better. Now, again, I wasn't married to this process. I said, let me just try this out. If it works, then I'll keep doing it. If it's not really working, then I won't keep doing it. But let me try it for a little while. Let me try it for a few weeks or a month, and let me see if this helps my ball handling get better. So I started doing it, and it was actually helping. I could feel myself getting better. I could see that I was more comfortable with the ball when I was out there on the court playing in the game. So I just kept doing it over and over again. And this became a series of drills that I did every single day through my career. When I first came up with this set of drills, I wasn't even playing pro yet. At this time, I was in college. But then I just kept doing these drills every single day, did it through my pro career. And I eventually made a couple of videos on this exact drill series that I put on YouTube. And one of them I did a short version of these drills, and I put that video out probably maybe 2009. That video is probably at 900,000 views. Then I did the full version of it, and the full version only takes like 12 minutes. All the drills that I came up with when I was maybe 18 or 19 years old. Put that video on YouTube. It's over 1 million views to this very day. And I'm not telling you that to impress you, but to impress upon you. The reason that that video became so popular is not because there was anything that was really viral about it. I wasn't doing anything. I was barely even talking in the video. I just talked through some of the drills, and most of that video, you don't hear any voice. It's just a guy on the court doing the dribbling drills. It's just me there doing the drills. I'm not saying anything. The reason that that video became so popular is simply because that process is so duplicatable and easily copied by anybody. That's why I got passed around so much, because any basketball player could see, even if they didn't know how to dribble the ball, you know what, if I do these drills every day, I could actually get better at dribbling. Anyone could look at it and see, you know what, I can do these drills every day. That can make me better at dribbling. I explained that a little bit at the beginning of the video, but again, as I said, I'm only talking for like 2 minutes. The rest of the video is just me doing the drill, and you can just watch me do it. Because processes that are duplicatable, that produce consistent outputs, anybody can follow. That's why strategy matters so much, and all of this is part of the strategy. And these are pieces of the tools that will help you be persistent. So let's recap today's class, which is the tools of persistence. Persistence being defined as continuing firmly or obstinately in an opinion or a course of action in spite of difficulty, opposition, or failure. Persisting is a simple idea, so I'm gonna make it fun for you and easy. You need these tools. Number 1, positivity and belief. See my episode on forced optimism. You must have the belief that there is light at the end of the tunnel in order for you to continue firmly on any course, especially when it is not working. It's very hard to continue persisting on something when it's not working if you don't have a positive expectation that doing so is actually going to do something good for you. Point number 2, calm confidence. You don't need to be bouncing off the walls and jumping up and down, but you must have the confidence on the inside. Understand that no one should be able to tell how good or bad you are doing based on the energy that you show up with on a day-to-day basis. It should be consistent and steady. The same things, the same way every time. Number 3, strategy and tools. If you want to persist, grinding every day can work. I'm not telling you that grinding is a failing strategy. It's actually not a strategy at all. The problem with it is if you don't know where it's taking you, you don't have a plan behind that grinding, then you could do a whole lot of grinding and maybe make some progress, but you make a lot more progress if you had a strategy to harness that hard work, to harness all that grinding. So get the tools at your disposal that will help you in persistence. Like I said, when I wanted to get better at dribbling the ball, I could have just kept coming to the basketball court and just bouncing the ball around and just hoping that something worked out. But instead, I decided to put together a strategy, a simple process that I could follow every single day, the same things, the same way every time, and see how that did for me. It did very well for me to the point that I could teach other people how to do it. And to this day, there are tens of thousands of ball players who learn how to dribble a basketball through me, not because I'm such a genius, but simply because I put a strategy in place that anyone could follow. Your strategies need to be that simple. They do not need to be complex at all. With all this said, you want to receive my daily motivation text message every single day. All you got to do is text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And if you want to get more help and more tips and more advice on how you can persist and how you can be more steady and consistent in your work and your inputs and your outputs, join me in my Bulletproof Mastermind. I do a live training every single week. We have a members-only community where you can share any question, any challenge, and everything gets addressed directly by me and other members of the Mastermind. And most importantly, you can make connections with other people so that you don't have to be doing everything by yourself, any of you out there who find yourself in that space. Join the Bulletproof Mastermind by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com, and the link is right there on that page. Work on your game. Dre all day.